Now, we will get on to the cup game, but it's back to league action on Sunday when we travel to Ipswich for another early kickoff. I'm pleased to say that joining us from an Ipswich pod is Lee. Lee, how you doing? Do you want to tell us about your pod?
Yeah, hi guys. Well, thanks for having us on. Yeah, so representing Portman Town, which is a pod that's been going, I think, similar time as long as your one, sort of around COVID time. I think Martin started the pod, and yeah, it's sort of grown since then. So there's a couple of good pods within Ipswich, in the Ipswich fan space. Slight difference with Portman Town is that we have a live feed for the fans to join, which can be quite lively sometimes. But yeah, similar to yourselves, trying to grow. And as I say, it's good to be here.
It does seem like we can't get away from each other in terms of like leagues. Whether we go up, you go up. If we go down, you go down. So I can't remember a time we were in the same league. But obviously, you kicked off on Friday night, similar to us, really, wasn't it? They were hoping for an upset. I think the TV cameras were there for that reason. A last-minute penalty, wasn't it, securing the point? What did you make of Friday? Because I've got a few friends, Ipswich fans, and they said it was hard work at times.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when random fixtures, I'm not sure, you guys drawing Wrexham and us getting Birmingham away. I'm not sure how that works, but, buy some lottery tickets, I reckon. So I mean, really tough. It was always going to be a tough game. I mean, St Andrews at any time, even when they're a struggling side, I always anticipated a tough game, and it was, and they put us to the sword for a long period of time. We struggled to get any sort of flow to the game, but they didn't really get behind us, and we probably had a couple of good chances. Sort of I think Smodix had a really good chance when the goalkeeper sort of played out from the back to him, but the defender came across and sort of put him off a bit. But yeah, it was just one of those games that was really high intense. The crowd were great. I mean, great to be back in the Championship in some respects, because it's just different atmosphere to some of the Premier League grounds that you go to, I think. But I think we're a little bit behind the ball in terms of our squad at the moment. We pretty much lost the whole midfield from last season. Caduce has come back on loan, but he only signed last week. So we only got two really recognised midfielders in Taylor and Matasiru, who we've just signed for 7 million. I mean, he's going to be a really big player for us, really good at Championship level. Interesting to what you listen to you guys about the bench. You've now got a really strong bench to change the game in the Championship. We never really had that. Our bench was really weak on Friday night. But if you're a Birmingham fan, they say it weren't a penalty, but by the letter of the law, the guy's gone up, his hands in an unusual position, he's headed it on, and I think however much I dislike VAR, if that goes to VAR, then VAR in the Premier League would give the penalties. So,
it wouldn't have been a penalty with the referee we had on Saturday, I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, the ref was really at the start of the game. He set the standard really low in terms of the fouls that he was given. It was all just nudges, and and players were going over, and everyone was getting the foul. And Birmingham had a goal disallowed where Greaves was running back, and the ball had bounced, and he's going to head it. But their centre forward, who's pretty good, the Japanese advert, don't ask me to pronounce his name, but he looks really useful. And he sort of jumped into the back, both feet off the ground, and nudged Greaves, and he then lobs the ball into the net. And Birmingham sort of saying, well, where's the foul? But when if you go to VAR, he's jumped up. So I think the ref got that right. But yeah, lucky with the penalty only on the aspect that the ref managed to see it, because he seemed to be the only one in the ground that did. But lots more to come from us. And I think next Sunday, I would say you're probably catching us at the right time, because Caduce isn't going to be up to speed to start the game. We've only got one real recognised. Well, we've got two recognised strikers, but one was on loan last season. So we're trying to get Akpon over the line, but that seems to have stalled again. So it's probably a good time to catch us, I would say.
And what are your thoughts on the season as a whole, league? Because obviously, like us, you're one of the favourites to win the league. A lot of people are tipping you to win. People will talk about the parachute payments, and you've managed to hold on to Kieran McKenna, so decent manager. What were you actually thinking about it? Like just actual fans. What's the mood like, and what's the expectations?
Well, the expectations are high, really high. I mean, when you spend the money, you've got the parachute payments as you guys had before. And we're investing, the money, we've sold the lap, we've reinvested that, we're reinvesting that money. The good thing is the money that's coming in for the players, it's all getting put back into the club. So the expectations are high. I mean, for me personally, I would say we've got to be in the hunt for the top two, but there's no given. You can't sit there and say, oh, we're definitely top two. The pundits can do that, but we should be pushing high for automatic promotion, and I've got a feeling that might be a bit tight this year. I think there's you guys, there's us. You never know what Leicester are with their parachute payments, but Birmingham look a decent side as well. They're spending a lot of money, similar to Rise of Ipswich, and we had our takeover, but we spent most of our money in League One, which I think gave us the momentum into the Championship season. We started hitting the ground running, but I think with the changes, particularly in midfield, I think it's going to take us a little time to settle. But certainly we've got to be anything, top 3, top 4. That's a disaster, I think.
I mean, to be fair, Glenn, we should know enough about what to expect because we played them enough over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, when you go up and down through in the divisions, squads change pretty markedly, don't they? I mean, Ipswich we got 4 points out of our 12 against them last year, and we should have won the home game as well. Obviously, yeah, it should have been 6. But yeah, so I mean, the clubs obviously are familiar with each other over the last 3 seasons. Ipswich's promotion from the Championship, I couldn't quite work it out. They and I mean this with respect. They got momentum, and they just kept it going. But when I looked at the 11 players on the pitch, I couldn't really understand how they were as good as they were. But fair play, got promoted automatically and made a much better fist of the Premier League than we did. So yeah, I mean, that's probably down to the manager. But it's interesting what you say about. So which players have you lost? I mean, obviously everyone knows about Delap. Is Sam Morsey still there?
No, so he's just left on a free. He's gone to a Kuwait. So he had he had 1 year left on his contract, and I don't think the club wanted to give him an extension, because I think if he had stayed, he wouldn't have played, and if we did get promoted, he wouldn't have been in the Premier League with us. If we did get promoted, so the club have let him go on a free, but that's left the gap in midfield. So when he got Jack Taylor now, and we've just signed Mitu Siwa, and that was his first game on Friday night. And we've got no one else. We've got Cam Humphreys, who was out on loan in League One last year. So they're our 3 midfielders. There's no one else. And, we've lost Wes Burns. Wes Burns would have played. You'd have seen Wes Burns play before. He's had a bad injury midway through the Premier League season, so he's not fit. We've got Ogbene that we got for the Premier League. He played on Friday, but he was out from October, and he's played until Friday night, he'd played about half an hour of pre-season. So we're really light.
But Hutchison's still there?
Yeah, but he's sort of down to...
He got linked with Brentford, didn't he?
Well, yeah, and now I think Forest have come in for him as well. So we've refused bids of 35 million for him. So he's not really trying, but he should have been in the matchday squad this week, but he's... He had an illness, but we've still got Jack Clark, so I think he's the one to watch. Yeah, the illness. Well, he didn't travel.
We've had a few of those.
Yeah, well, he didn't travel. Hutchinson didn't travel on the last pre-season friendly against Auxerre. His head went in the right place, so you make of that.
Oh, we got one of those.
Yeah. So I'm not sure Amari. So Amari is one of those where, we'd love him to stay. He had a brilliant Euros. He did really well in the Euros, but of course, there's bids in for him, and we're holding out for more money. Unlike what we could do with a Delap, but we've got Jack Clark, who we got from Sunderland last season. He's good in the championships. Smodic is still there. He's been Golden Boot. And Broadhead, we've still got Nathan Broadhead. He's a good player, but he's subject to a 7 million bid from Wrexham. So I think.
I mean, that's been on the table for about 2 months, hasn't it? That deal.
But
how has that not happened yet?
Yeah, I don't think we'll let him go because of the injuries, because of all the injuries that we've got in our forward line. I don't think the club can afford to let him go until there's another replacement in the door. So I think that deal will go through. If as I know, I've got no inside information, but I think that deal will go through at some point once we get the bodies through the door. But that just leaves us that little bit short. I mean, we've replaced the defenders, okay, but pretty much apart from that, the squad's, I say, the same. But again, we just haven't got the numbers. The bench, we had three on the bench that won't probably be at the club come the end of the transfer window. They'll either go out on loan. So we're really short. It
is interesting though, isn't it, Alfie? Playing them this early in the season, both squads are in that sort of transition period, and when we meet again later in the season, it's going to be two completely different teams. But could be a good time to play them.
Yeah, I think if you'd asked me that a week ago, I'd have said that Ipswich are playing Saints at the right time. But to be honest, the way that Will Steele's handling it, and he's just told Samadozi, Tyler Dibbling, and Joe Rebo to sit out and just to wait to see what happens with their futures. I think it's the right way to do it, I think, and we know exactly sort of who's available, who's not. I was surprised when Omari Hutchinson wasn't in the team last week. I'm sure if I was following closely, I wouldn't have been surprised by that. But I thought, clearly that's a big blow, but it's very similar to Tyler Dibbling, the similar age profile, similar position, England youth internationals, and by the sounds of it, very similar value. You're sort of knocking off 35 million offers. Saints are knocking off similar offers for Tyler and looking to get a little bit more as well. So I think it makes for an interesting game for sure. I think it's big for Ipswich that Kieran McKenna's still there. I think a lot of us probably would have suspected maybe go to a Bournemouth if they sacked if they had to replace him, or a Brentford, exactly, if they didn't go for a set piece coach. I'm surprised that he's still there. I think that it plays in Ipswich hands, gives them a bit of continuity. But I watched the game on Friday night, and I thought you were really ordinary. You mentioned Jack Clark. Obviously, he's done it before in the Championship, but I wasn't that impressed on Friday night, I must admit. And I thought you were very lucky with the goal that was ruled out in the first 5 minutes from Kyogo. I felt that it wasn't a foul personally. But Saints looked ordinary at times during Saturday's match as well. So it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I'd expect both of them to be up there, like say top 3 or 4 this season. I think it's quite a cool game to have this early on. I'm looking forward to it.
Steve, judging by the ticket prices, this must be the best ground in the league.
I mean, it is absolutely fascinating, isn't it? That you play a Premier League match at Portman Road early February in 2025, and the ticket price is 30 quid, and you drop down the division, and 6 months later the ticket price is £43. So are we getting a 50% better away end? I'm assuming probably not. I'm assuming that concourse is still going to be cramped, and we're not going to be able to get a drink at half time, and I'm going to be bashing my head on some sort of girder above my head at the back of the stand. But yeah,
that's part of the bigger problem, though, isn't it? They're just doing what they're allowed to get away with. That's probably a debate for another day, but it is rubbish.
The EFL has obviously seen that. I mean, I guess the issue is that the Premier League can afford to do the away cap. Yeah. The Football League less so. And if you're owner of a Football League club, the TV deals are a pittance compared to what you get in the Premier League, and therefore you've kind of got to maximise your revenue however you can do it. Yeah. But I mean, there's got to be a line. 43 quid's an absolute piss take. Yeah. And the problem is that you end up then with clubs doing these tit for tat things. So I'm sure that when Ipswich come down in early part of next year, I think when that game is, I'd fully expect us to make it a Category A game, and we're going to charge Ipswich 40, 45 quid or whatever it is. And it helps nobody. All it does is breed resentment, and everyone gets pissed off. And you'll find what you'll get is a load of people who say, "Well, I'm not. If I'm being asked to fork out this much for the ticket, that club's getting no money off of me for food or drink. I'll get stuff on the way, and then just kind of sit on my hands for a couple of hours, and then sort myself out after the game." So yeah, I mean, nobody really wins in this situation, and other than coming up with some kind of cap or just clubs being more reasonable, I don't really see what can be done. And ultimately, the biggest problem is that like mugs, we still go and buy the tickets.
Yeah, sold out.
But you've only got to buy one ticket. Yeah, you've only got to buy a £43 ticket for one game. If Ipswich do this to 10 other clubs, Ipswich's away fans are going to have a very expensive season because, like you say, all the tit for tat agreements are going to go in place, and Ipswich are going to have 10 away games where some of their fans will go to all 10, obviously, and they'll be spending £43 a ticket. So ultimately, the people who will suffer the most will be the Ipswich travelling fans.
Maybe we'll check in with you, Lee, later in the season on that one.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, just on that point, there's not one Ipswich fan that's happy with the price that you guys are paying. Just the fans are just astonished the amount that you have to pay. So the club, so all the fans are with you on that. I've not seen a single fan that hasn't disagreed with that, and it is a shame. I mean, I've got tickets for Preston in a couple of weeks, and they were £30. Well, just a long way up. It's going to take me probably another £50 worth of ticket. I mean, I don't know how you guys get there, but where I am in East Anglia, in Lowestoft, it's 2 hours just to get out of East Anglia, and the train link. You probably couldn't get to Preston and back in the day on a train from where I live. But yeah, so that's that. To say that I can get a ticket for £30 away, but we're charging fans 43. I think that's pretty harsh. Yeah. And it's not as if, I mean, what extra revenue does that really bring in? Really, apart from really pissing the fans off, as you say, Steve. Yeah. That's harsh. It's harsh.
Lee, we'll let you go. I just want to get a score prediction from you. We always do this. We're not going to hold you to it, anything, but what do you reckon?
I can't remember the last time we won our first league game at home. We're not great stars at home.
Oh, my beer.
Your home with us is.
I wouldn't be surprised if we draw, but I've got a feeling we'll be a bit stronger than when we played Friday night. I would think I'd say 2-1 home win. Reverse the fixture from last season. That's what I'll go for.
Nice one. All right, really insightful. Thanks for joining us, Lee, and enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up next time we play you guys.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having us on.
Cheers.
Cheers, Lee. Let's just run around and do our score predictions. If you're watching the live stream, you can stick your predictions in there. Hats off as well to the predictions league that we're running. 42 of the 125 entrants got the exact correct score at the weekend, which is pretty decent. They're better than us. Steve?
I think having got the win this weekend, suddenly there's less weight on this game. So I don't think there's going to be quite we've got to get a win. We've got to get that first one chalked up. Ipswich are going to want to bounce back from what was a pretty ordinary performance on Friday, albeit in hostile atmosphere and against a side kind of with a little bit of momentum. But yeah, they weren't great, and they'll want to kind of kick on and get the season up and running properly. But I think we've got an idea of how we're playing now. That's kind of a game and a half sort of back to back where we've got a system and a structure that kind of looks like it suits the players. So I don't think we'll lose. I think we can go up there and we'll get a result. Just don't think we'll probably be able to win it again. So I think we'll go for a 1-1 draw this time.
1-1 draw. Alfie, your thoughts?
All of the above for Steve, but I'll change up a little bit and go for a 2-2 draw, just something different.
Okay, Glenn?
I think that the last 6 minutes yesterday has totally changed the mood around things. As Steve said, it's kind of taken the pressure off this game a bit. And whilst, because if we'd lost to Wrexham, we'd have been going into this thinking, oh my God, we're going to lose our first two games. Yeah. It's going to be 0 points. We're going to be bottom of the league again.
And just around the corner.
It's just going to look miserable. But that 6 minutes has kind of changed everything, I think. And And it would have not just with the supporters, but it would have changed everything with the players as well, and they'll be free to go out and attack this game. I didn't see the Ipswich game. I saw the highlights of it, and from what I saw there, they were pretty fortunate to get a result. Interesting what Lee had to say about their squad. Not, and I guess that's where they went through the divisions, because they went League One, Championship, Premier League. They hadn't had the years of collecting players like we had. The reason we were so bad last year is because we had a big squad of Championship players, and we've still got that. Hence what we said about the bench earlier on. So no, I'm quite confident we can go there and win this. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win again, same as last year.
Nice. Congratulations to Darren Collins for winning our T-shirt giveaway on X this week. We're going to be giving away TSP merch for every Saints win this season, which could cost us a few quid. Well, hopefully it will anyway. Make sure you keep an eye on our socials ahead of Sunday.